Do you ever find yourself replaying a single mistake over and over in your mind? That one failed project, that one embarrassing moment, that one time you weren't good enough, it becomes a ghost that sits on your shoulder, whispering that you'll just fail again. It paralyzes you. You want to move forward, to try again, but the fear of repeating that past failure is a cage. You become so obsessed with avoiding the old mistake that you can't take the first step toward a new success. This is a story about the paralyzing weight of a single memory and the simple, profound secret to finally letting it go. In the heart of a prosperous empire, the annual archery contest was the path to legend. The grand prize was the jade quiver and a place of honor in the emperor's royal guard. And a young archer named Finn was a prodigy, the most gifted talent in a generation. His arrows didn't just fly, they danced on the wind. For Finn, hitting the target was as natural as breathing. But Finn was haunted. He was a prisoner of a single moment in last year's final. Under the silent gaze of the emperor, his final arrow had missed the dead center by a single hair's breadth. He hadn't lost the match, but in his mind, he had lost. His perfection and that single imperfect arrow had become a relentless ghost. Now, a year later, the contest loomed again. He trained relentlessly, his form flawless, his muscles like steel. But his mind was a battlefield. Every time he drew his bow, he saw two arrows, the real one in his hand, and the phantom of the one that had failed. The ghost arrow had always missed. The closer the contest came, the heavier the shadow of his past grew. His hands, once steady as mountain stone, now carried a subtle, infuriating tremor. The smooth wood of the bow felt foreign and slick in his sweaty palms. Desperate, Finn sought the wisdom of Kalen, a retired general whose name was still legend, a warrior who had laid down his sword to discover a different kind of strength. Found Kalen not in a grand hall of trophies, but in a quiet garden, bathed in sunlight, peacefully carving a small wooden bird. The air smelled of cedar and damp earth. It was a world of serene order, a stark contrast to the chaos in Finn's soul. Finn, his voice tight with anxiety, poured out his story, the talent, the failure, and the paralyzing fear that this one shadow would forever define him. He begged Kalen for a secret warrior's technique to steady his hands and conquer his mind. Kalen listened, his deep, clear eyes never leaving Finn's. When he finished, the old general said nothing. He simply handed Finn a small, uncarved block of wood and a sharp, polished knife. "Reveal the bird within this wood," Kalen said softly. Finn was baffled. A bird? He came for a warrior's secret, not a child's hobby. But his desperation outweighed his pride. He took the tools, his mind fixated on a perfect soaring eagle. He rushed, eager to prove himself. But his impatience made his cuts jagged. His focus on the end result made his hands clumsy. The wood splintered. The shape was crude, lifeless. A monument to his frustration. Kalen placed a gentle hand on his arm. "You are trying to carve a bird," the old man said. "That is the mistake. Your mind is at the destination, so you trip on the journey." He took the splintered wood. The goal is not to carve a bird. The goal is to make one perfect cut, another. You do not focus on the cut that came before, for it is done. You do not focus on the one that will follow, for it is not yet real. You pour your entire world into the single scrape of the blade right now. The bird is not a goal you achieve. It is a truth you reveal, one present moment at a time. The words settled deep in Finn's soul. The next day, Kalen took him to the archery field. The sun was warm. He placed an arrow in Finn's trembling hand. "Do not think of the target," Kalen commanded, his voice a quiet anchor. The target is the future. It doesn't exist yet. Forget the arrow that flew a year ago. That is the past. It is only a memory. Banish the ghost. There is only this, now. Feel your feet on the earth. Solid, grounded. Finn felt the grass beneath his boots. Feel the air fill your lungs. Breathe in strength. Breathe out the doubt. Finn took a slow, deep breath. Now, think only of your grip, the texture of the wood and the string. Nothing else exists. The tremor in his hands began to still. Now, the draw. Feel the smooth, steady tension building in your arms. Be only the draw. The bow felt like a part of him again, solid, powerful. There is only this arrow, this breath, this perfect, single moment of stillness. Finn looked toward the target, but he didn't see it as a goal to be hit or missed. The world fell away. The past vanished. The future dissolved. There was only the feeling of the taut string against his fingers. He let it go. It flew with a silent, perfect hum. A black streak against the blue sky. It struck the dead center of the target with a solid, satisfying thud. Tears of pure relief streamed down Finn's face. The immense weight he had carried for a year simply evaporated in the light of the present moment. He finally understood. His fear was never about hitting the target. It was about being held prisoner by a shadow. By focusing his entire being on the single present action, the shadow had nowhere left to hide. The lesson: the shadows of our past are failures. Our mistakes only have power over us when our mind is living there. True success, true peace, is not found by staring at the future outcome or obsessing over past results. It is found by pouring your complete, undivided attention into the single action you are taking. An entrepreneur terrified of a past. Business failure won't succeed by dreaming of $1 million exit. They will succeed by focusing entirely on writing that one perfect email and then the next. A person starting at the gym, haunted by years of inactivity, won't reach their goal by staring at the finish line. They will reach it by focusing completely on finishing this one repetition, and then the next by mastering the present action. You starve the ghosts of the past, and you lay the foundation for the future you desire. This is Narratives of Wisdom. Reminder that your point of power is never in what has been, or what might be. It is right here, now, in this breath, this choice, this single next step. So we ask you, what is the one action you can focus on completely right now to move forward? Forget yesterday's miss. Forget tomorrow's target. What is your very next step? Let us know in the comments below, and for more stories to help you find your strength. In the present moment, subscribe and join our community. Your journey to wisdom continues.